You're listening to the Change Your POV Podcast Network. This is Attack Friday, episode 202.
He was like, holy crap. You need to reach out to some chaplains. Like, you need to reach out to somebody, like, please. So I've got a gun in one hand. I've got a bottle of Jack Daniels in the other, sitting on my floor, bawling my eyes out, cursing God. Like, what in the hell do I do?
Hello, folks, and welcome to Change Your POV Podcast Network. I am your host, Eddie Lazary.
And I am Bennett Tanton.
And it's been a long time since we've done this, so I'm actually really excited.
Shit. Freaking weird as shit.
I know. I've been on a hiatus. So this is my first interview in a long, long time, Sean. So today, folks, we bring to you Sean Douglas. And Sean is a U.S. Air Force veteran, master resilience implementer, which we're going to talk about that, professional speaker, instrumental radio show host, which we talked about at the top of the show a little bit, a life coach, and author with over 10,000 hours of speaking and training time. He inspires and motivates you to live your brand so that you can grow personally and professionally. Sean works with millennials to 50-year-old professionals teaching mental, physical, social, emotional, and spiritual resilience skills that empowers them to withstand, recover, and grow through adversity, stress, and life's changing demands in a highly interactive and engaging environment, which we're going to talk about because, folks, I don't know about you, but I fit all those, as I'm reading through here, right? I'm like, ching, 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 like check the box on all of those.
Millennials.
Yeah. Sean spent 4 years in the Air Force basic training drill instructor, where he developed over 600 men and women into military leaders in the Chair Force. Sean is energetic and passionate about inspiring others to succeed. He is the author of the book titled Decisions: The Power to Overcome Self-Defeating Behaviors, which Bennett and we've done a lot about talking about our environment and our own self-actualization, and we talked many moons ago, many episodes ago, about self-defeating behaviors, what we call limiting beliefs. So I'm really, really excited to have you on the show, Sean. Welcome to Change Your POV, man. Great to have you here. I don't know exactly where this conversation is going to go, but by the time we're at the end, it's going to be awesome.
Aim high, Sean.
Oh, yeah, dude, I am pumped.
Aim high. There you go. That's
Aim high.
I heard you're
gonna have to take a little ration because I'm a Marine that was also in the Army, and Eddie was a Marine. Oh God!
Whoa, Jesus! Whoa!
Title.
Oh my God!
He was in the Army.
Hey, look, you know what? Marines need heroes too. That's why I joined the Air Force.
See, that's where you guys always go, but I never understood that. Just don't.
Because we have top cover. Like when you guys get too far in and lose yourself inside of the battle, like we have to come and save you every time.
You clean the crayons out of our teeth, right?
Every time.
Yeah.
Would you like
we
some
paved
floss
the way
with that?
for your success. Okay, that's what the Air Force does. We drop bombs. We pave the way for your success, and we don't take credit for it.
Yeah,
love it.
I'm in Iraq, and I walk into an Air Force dining facility, and it's like, like the skies opened up. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, holy shit, they got like a seafood buffet, like legit. They had crab legs, like it was awesome, man. Awesome.
I was on an army convoy in 2004, and the first day they threw me some baby wipes in a bottle, like an empty bottle. It was like, here, you're gonna need these. I'm like, the hell I need that for? I found out an hour and a half later. I hate the Army.
Well, at least they gave you baby wipes.
Yeah.
Jesus. Oh man. Well, welcome to the show, man. You reached out to us. Now, this is something that Ben and I have been talking about a while, is we love it when we discover veterans that are doing awesome things that we've never heard about. And you fall into that category. You've been around doing some amazing things, and we've just, I don't know what it is. We just never kind of crossed paths, and it's amazing the veterans we get to bring on the show that are just doing some really, really cool stuff, and we get to learn about them and what they're doing and share you with our audience. So again, thanks for reaching out to us and coming on the show. So just back up a little bit and talk to us a little bit about kind of your background, your military, background, history, and kind of and what led you into what you're doing today.
Okay, so try to keep this as short as I can. I was born and raised in Detroit, Michigan, and my dad and
So
my
sorry.
mom, yeah, my mom and dad divorced when I was in first grade because my dad always had a burning desire to go into the military, and my mom was like, "No, you've got kids. Like, why the hell would you want to do that?" And this is right at Desert Storm, and so my mom was like, "Look, you're not going." He's like, "Oh, yes, I am." And then he left, and then she literally divorced him because he left. So, I grew up pretty much, mom and two sisters, and maybe saw my dad every couple weeks, or maybe a week out of the summer. Grew up basically in a domestic violence dominated, alcohol dominated, physical, mental abuse household. By the time I was 18, I lived in 11 different houses and attended 8 different schools. In third grade, we got evicted out of our house and had to move into my grandparents' basement. That was my life. So my mom and stepdad divorced when I was in 7th grade, and then we lived on our own for a little bit in my grandparents' basement in Michigan, full finished basement. We just lived with them for a couple of years. And then in high school, I attended a bunch of different high schools until we finally moved out of Detroit to Port Huron. And I joined the military right at 9/11 because I was literally a warehouse manager at Discount Tire. I wasn't doing anything. I graduated high school with a 1.9. I was experimenting with different things, and I didn't really feel like my life held any value. Literally, I'd wake up every day and be like, I got to go to work because my mom made me go to work, and I don't have anything to do with my life, and I just kind of suck. So I took risks like every chance I got. I'd do 100 down the road on a motorcycle just because I didn't care. Like, I literally cared about nothing. And so 9/11 happened. I was like, oh, this is my moment. Like, this is my dare to be great moment. And my dad joined the Air Force, because of Desert Storm. I'm joining the Air Force because of 9/11. Like father, like son. This is going to be great, except I'm single. And so joined the military 2001 and got stationed in England from RAF Lakenheath. I got stationed there in beginning of 2002, middle of 2002-ish, and stayed there all the way to the end of 2004. And there is where all my self-defeating behaviors came full circle. I developed a deep desire for double Jack Daniels and Dr. Pepper. Like, that was my drink. Wow. Like Jack Daniels. I always had Jack Daniels in my hand. Single barrel, didn't matter. Regular Jack, didn't matter. I was drinking Jack. And so I became an alcoholic very, very quickly. And so as I traveled and rotated back to the States, I had a lot of issues, had a lot of problems. I was going to get kicked out because I got charged with an Article 112 of the UCMJ, which is drunk on duty, in 2005. And so I got help for that, was forced to get help by the commander, and then PCS somewhere else to I was Utah, where I met my wife. And then in 2008, we got divorced because I wouldn't stop drinking. I was getting kicked out of the military. My house had burned down because of some stupidity from me having parties, and my house just got set on fire. It was really crazy. And so I lost my house. I was living in a hotel. My wife was like, look, this is crazy. We're going to live with me and, whatever. And then I ended up living with her, and then we got married and, shortly divorced after that. And then that's when I had my first suicide attempt. I put a 9mm in my mouth and was like, I'm done. Like, I'm just a complete failure. I have no value. I'm absolutely just done with my life. And so I put a gun in my mouth. And as the moment that I was squeezing the trigger, my phone rang, and it was my dad, who I haven't talked to in like a year. Haven't talked to this guy. And he's like, yeah, I'm in Hawaii. I'm living the life. I'm a first sergeant. I'm living the life, whatever. And, just wanted to tell me Merry Christmas, whatever. And I told him exactly what all was going on. He was like, holy crap. You need to reach out to some chaplains. Like, you need to reach out to somebody, like, please. So I've got a gun in one hand. I've got a bottle of Jack Daniels in the other, sitting on my floor, bawling my eyes out, cursing God. Like, what in the hell do I do? And so I was like, look, this is my last chance. Like, I'm going to give it one more chance. I've got my dad on the phone. Now I've got other family members calling me. Now I've got other people like reaching out. I'm like, oh, God, spare me. So I reached out to some chaplains. I reached out to everybody that I could. It was like, I'm giving it one last chance. Otherwise I'm done. Like, I'm just going to do it. And so I did, and I got help, and I became not like, I battle every day, man. Like, I haven't drank in like over a year. But I still battle. Like I still get into my own head and I get in my own way sometimes. And so in 2009, I became like a sponge for personal and professional development. Like, oh my God, I have to do this, right? So my mission, sole focus was to reframe my mindset so I could reframe my life. And 4 months later, my commander's like, dude, you have an awesome testimony. You quit smoking, you quit drinking, you're helping other people and reaching out into the community and reaching other people. You just gotta be a drill instructor. Like, what? A drill instructor? Like, what the? Like, they kill people's faces. Like, they murder faces down there, you know? Like, they're like, oh, no, it's not that bad anymore. Like, you should go down there. I'm like, well, whatever. So I applied for it and I got it. I'm like, holy shit. Okay, now I'm like freaking out because now I really have to be, because I was scared of my drill instructor, probably because he was an ex-Marine, then Air Force, and it became a you know, and we literally, like, other people.
Wait, there's no such thing as an ex-Marine.
I know you guys are all Marines. I know my brother-in-law is a Marine. I know
he was a Marine in the Air Force.
Oh, it's a devil dog.
No, I'm just saying
he was a Marine wearing an Air Force uniform.
Yeah. So here's the thing: when other instructors, like so if you're marching by and you do something stupid, you know, whatever, right? And another TI is like, "Who's your instructor?" And you're like, "Oh, it's Staff Sergeant Furman was his name." He's like, "Staff Sergeant Furman." Like, "Oh, no, carry on, fuck that, carry on." Like nobody would mess with us because that was his flight. Like nobody, like, "Ooh, I'm gonna get this," and I could hear, "I'm gonna get this trainee. Oh, I'm gonna mess with this guy. Who's your instructor?" Staff Sergeant Furman. Carry on. Like nobody would mess with him because he would go and like, oh, I've heard so many stories even after I left and I came back, because when I came back as a drill instructor, I graduated basic training from the 320th Training Squadron. I was a TI at the 320th Training Squadron, and one of the guys that I was there with, one of the senior NCOs, was like, "Who's your instructor?" And I told him. He's like, "Oh God." He's like, "Let me tell you a story about this guy." Like, he used to take instructors out back and whoop the crap out of them for messing with their flights. Like, he would.
Damn.
Oh yeah, it was bad. So he's like, "Mess with my flight, see what happens. Like, you mess with me, like, see what happens." So he still had that Marine mentality, like, my shit don't stink and like I'm better than you. And it translated into our flight.
It never goes away.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
We were the most arrogant. Like, everybody hated us because we were the most arrogant flight out of everybody. You know, when we marched, and, you know, so here I am in 2009, like, learning to be a drill instructor. You know, I'm like, this is gonna be so awesome. And when I saw those aha moments, I was like, this is like, my life finally has purpose. Like, this is what I've been searching for. This is what I was meant to do. And so from 2009 to 2013, I was an MTI, and I had 10 flights that I put through basic training, about 50 to 60 per flight, and won all kinds of awards, got Instructor of the Year in 2010. I mean, I really dove in and says, oh my God, this is my passion. This is my purpose. I will be the best instructor that I can. And that's when my public speaking career began. I went to high schools. I judged 2 national drill meets in Texas. Used to go all over the place with high schools, judging junior ROTC competitions, you know, empowering other people's flights. Like, my flight's really stupid. Can you help me? I'm like, absolutely. Let's go murder their face, you know? And so I would help other instructors become better. Like my life just held value, and I loved every minute of it. And then I got done with that, got sent to Seymour Johnson Air Force Base in North Carolina. And one of the guys was like, dude, you're an old MTI, bro. I've got this program that we're trying to set up. You should get involved. And it was a resilience program. So the University of Pennsylvania in 2011 and 2012 made a resilience program for their curriculum. Well, the military, or the DoD, adopted that program. And so now you have comprehensive soldier fitness for resilience. You have comprehensive airman fitness for the Air Force. You've got like a Navy version of Marines, like resilient. Well, give me a gun. So they don't have anything that I know of, but they've got total force, whatever it's called now. So they got a form of the resilience, but it really hit mainstream DoD in 2015, because in 2014 we had the highest suicide rates in the military, historic levels. And so I learned how to, through being a drill instructor, I learned how to build lesson plans. I learned how to be an instructor and control a classroom, but I developed by going to conferences and speaking at conferences and high schools, and like, I just perfected my craft. And so by the time I left drill instructor, I had accumulated, just as a drill instructor, I'd accumulated almost 6,000 hours from 2009 to 2013 of training, speaking time, classroom time, whatever. And I've been doing it ever since. You know, I've been speaking at conferences. I go all over the place, speaking about my experiences and suicide ideations and resilience and how you can live a better life and living your brand. And I absolutely love what I do.
Cool. Well, we're going to start to dig in now, and I don't know, you've probably been on a lot of shows, and perhaps a lot of those shows kind of skim wave tops. We get in a little bit deep on this show, deeper than probably normal, and we ask some tougher questions, which I think you're up for the challenge. But it's all about keeping shit real here. So I'll start off, and I know Bennett's got probably a load of questions himself. But I want to get into when you first started talking about developing self-defeating behaviors. Obviously, you probably didn't call them then. You probably weren't even aware of what they were. You had some things like alcoholism, divorce, suicide attempt. And what are some other self-defeating or self-limiting behaviors that you have experienced or seen other folks have experienced within their life?
The number one self-defeating behavior is when you count other people's blessings. That is the number one stuff. Everybody does it. You do it. I do it. Everybody does it. Everybody, in one form or fashion, when you drive by the house, $1 million home, you're like, oh my God, I want that so bad. If you ever say, oh my God, I want that, that's a desire. And when you desire things, you start counting other people's blessings because you start getting in your head. You're like some people I know is like, oh, cool, a Ferrari, bro. That's awesome. Good for you. You know, I'm perfectly happy with my truck. And you're like, oh, okay, cool. But most people go, oh my God, I would do anything to get that Ferrari or Lambo, you know, whatever. How come your kids are so well behaved? My kids suck. You know, I'm like, what? Like, I've heard people talk bad about their kids in front of their kids. Like my kids are freaking stupid. Like, how come your kids are so well behaved? And the other parent goes, oh, no. They're just behaving for you because they know I'll kill them, you know?
Yeah.
And so, you know, counting people's blessings are the number one self-defeating behavior in the world. The number two is comparing somebody's chapter 1 to somebody else's chapter 20. When I started my first business, which was an entertainment company, I was like, dude, what? I cannot find, like, how come I'm never getting booked for weddings and parties and quinceañeras and like, what in the hell, you know? And it just, I don't know. I just got into my own head. I was like, I suck. Like, it's just never going to happen. Like, I should just quit, you know, because I see other people being successful, but you don't see what they've gone through. They've been doing it for 10 years. That's the same thing with speaking. You know, I'm like, how come they're getting booked like every week? Well, because you've only done it for a year. You know, how come my podcast is only like 2 listeners? Like, how come the POV podcast is like 1,000? Like, what the hell, you know?
Yeah. So where's the line though? I mean, there's got to be a fine line between wanting to have goals and want to be more and do more and have more, and then there's also that side you're talking about and that self-defeating type of behaviors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, you got to water your own grass. You know, like that's the main thing that I've learned through this whole process. You have to water your own grass. Stop counting other people's blessings. Yeah, congratulate them, high five them, whatever, but concentrate and stay in your own lane.
Right.
And that's part of the issue with the veteran community in general. And Eddie and I have talked exhaustively about this. Is exactly what you're saying. It is literally, Sean, like, don't worry, like, be happy for other vets that are killing it.
Yes.
Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Be happy for them. Don't all of a sudden try to bring them down because you know what I'm saying? Like, to bring them down to your level because you think you're a fuck up.
Yep.
And all of a sudden it's that's the type of behavior that drives me freaking nuts. And that is self-defeating behavior as well.
Absolutely. I used to hang out with other military people that were drinkers. Because nobody else wanted to hang out with me. People who were like, oh, I'm going to the beach, or I'm going on a boat, or I'm going skydiving, I'm going this. Like, let's go to the bar. Like, let's go get messed up. You know, let's go bring some girls back, you know? And they're like, what? No. So like, I wasn't the guy that everybody wanted to hang out with, but I found other people that were my same mentality that's who I hang around. So really what I've learned now, like in the past year, is that your network is your net worth, and your net worth is directly correlated to your network.
Yeah.
So if you got a bunch of shitheads in your freaking group, then because you're the average of the 5 people that you hang around the most.
That's exactly what I was just going to say. And we are, whether we like to believe it or not, we are strongly influenced by our environment. right?
Exactly. You know what? So when I'm on stage, I always tell people this. This is the number one thing well, not the number one thing, but mostly the number one thing that I always say is that you are not a product of your environment if you make the correct choice. You know what I mean? Like I could have been a womanizer. I've never once smacked my wife ever. But from the time that I was in first grade to the time that I was in seventh grade, that's all I witnessed. Now, however, I did develop the self-defeating behaviors where I was smoking at 16 and I was drinking at 18 and I was over there in England, drinking in form of womanizing where you just pull a different girl out of a bar every day or every weekend or, whatever you're doing, I learned how to parent because of the parents that I had. Now you can be a product of your environment. Hey man, do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? But if you make the correct decisions and you figure out this is who I want to be in life and this is what I value, then your environment is irrelevant. You have the choice. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I've always
you're not free from the consequences of your freaking decisions. That's what I was saying.
Right. Yeah. I always say that you create your own environment. Like
hell yeah.
You might have come from the shit. And you know what?
Yep.
We all have a story. And some people's story is hunky-dory, beaver cleaver, and some is fucked up, like you, like me. And even, Eddie's got some issues too, man. We all have issues, right? And we've all got, shit and skeletons in our closet and shit back there. But at the end of the day, if that's where you decide that you're going to end up, then by all means, that's your decision. But you have a fucking decision.
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's what I always tell people is you choose to be what you want to be. And no, it's not easy. There's not a magic pill. There's not a magic bullet. There's not something that you can drink that's going to make you not do that. That's a choice that you have to make on the inside and then execute.
Yep.
Otherwise, you're just going to end up like everyone else that's around you. And then, it's so simple, but yet it isn't easy. And that's the truth.
Right, yeah. And we talk a lot about victimology, right? And it's really easy to place blame somewhere else, anywhere but me, right? It's the VA, it's the Army, it's the Air Force, it's my parents,
it's my dad, it's my mom.
It's always something or someone else, right? It's never me, right? And there was somebody that I was speaking with one time that just had a difficult time with his roommates, and had every year he went back to college and had difficult time with his next set of roommates, and it was always the other roommate. I was like, have you ever stopped and asked yourself who is the common denominator in this equation? Right?
Yep.
Every year you go back, you have a different set of roommates, and you don't get along with any of them, and sometimes it's difficult. You've got to look yourself in the mirror and say, what is it that I'm doing? How have I been able to impact or affect this positively and or negatively? And you've got to and that's the thing that we talk about as well, is taking ownership, whether it's our fault or not, because taking responsibility and fault are two different things, right? Everybody wants to find fault because everybody seems to want to keep score, right? If we forget about or if we lose sight of this idea of keeping score, and instead we just take ownership and responsibility and accountability for all actions, whether we are at fault or not, things open up. There's things that happen within our lives when we are open to that type, and that's where essentially the name of the show comes from, changing your point of view, right?
Because it's your life.
It is. It's absolutely true. One of the things that I want to talk to you about, Sean, is I find it interesting, you got to the place in your life where you were contemplating suicide. And I want to bring this up because so often, especially nowadays when we're talking about suicide in veterans or suicide in actively serving, suicide and PTSD seem to go hand in hand. It's almost a marriage. It's like salt and pepper, right? It's black and white. It's they go together, this whole PTSD and suicide. But I disagree. I mean, here we are. You're in a bad spot in your life at this time, and I could be wrong, but I don't think it really had anything to do with PTSD. And I think it's important to point out that you don't have to have PTSD to get to a point in your life where you're contemplating suicide, and you don't have to be a point in your life where you're contemplating suicide and feel that it's because of PTSD, right? They don't go one. They're not one and the same. They don't go hand in hand as much as a lot of people might think they do. What do you think?
I think that PTSD is a diagnosis of exclusion. Oh, we can't find anything else wrong with you. You must have PTSD. That's what I think.
Yeah.
I think it's just a crutch, because what I teach people is post-traumatic growth, right? Because if you grow from the experience. Now, so I'm going to drop some, ready for a knowledge bomb? I'm going to drop this knowledge bomb on you. All right. So if any of the listeners out there ever get a chance, and if there are a lot of veterans and stuff, they probably were like, yeah, F that. But dude, check this out. So the London cab driver research, dude, check out London cab driver research. They took 20 London cab drivers, they MRI'd their brains. They took 20 other people, random people, and MRI'd their brains. All of them came to the same conclusion. The London cab drivers have a huge GPS lobe in their brain, the frontal cortex, right? They have this huge area of the brain. GPS is massive. They just know how to get to where they need to go. Then they took the other 20 people, and the same thing. Each person's strength was highlighted in their brain, which then they concluded that every single thing we do in life is a learned behavior. You're not born racist. You're not born suicidal. You're not born resilient. You're not born a badass. It's a learned behavior, and it becomes a product of your environment, right? Mm-hmm. So I tell people, like, you don't have to be a product of your environment. Just change your environment or make better decisions, you know? And so if I was put into an environment of free from alcohol, then I had no correlation. I would have never found out that I was an alcoholic. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But because I was in England, and it was a cool thing to do because you're 19 years old, and, you know, and I took alcohol, I'm like, wow, I feel great. And because I had all this messed up stuff that I never dealt with, my dad and family members, and, you know, all this, that was my crutch. That was my decision to crawl into a bottle whenever I felt bad, right? So the London cab driver research study just proves that every single thing is a learned behavior. Nobody's an awesome marketer. I didn't learn how to do a podcast at birth. You know what I mean? You guys didn't just, I know how to do that. I've never done it before, but I didn't know how to do that.
Yeah, no
right?
shit.
You had to learn, right? You had to learn. So if you want to be a badass and you want to be successful, freaking learn. You learn how to freaking do it. And you get out of your own head, get out of your own way, and you make a way, and you make it happen no matter what. And you learn how to do it. I had to learn to not rely on alcohol. I had to learn how to not, and I didn't rely on the gum for freaking smoking. I made a fucking decision. And I was like, look, I'm gonna take steps, and I'm gonna consciously not do it. You know what I mean? And everything that I do with speaking and my radio show and the businesses that I build, I'm learning how to do it. You know what I mean?
And I think I totally see where you're going with this. And let's be honest, we're humans, and it's easy to be an autopilot, right? Because it's when you're actively trying to stay present or in the moment, or you're actively trying to improve your professional life or your personal life, or you're trying to lose weight, or learn a language, or go to school, or become a better father or a better husband. Those are active, and you have to actively be engaged in all the decisions that you're making, the choices that you're making on from moment to moment. And let's be honest, that's harder to do. That requires a lot more thought process, a lot more planning, a lot more determination, a lot more discipline than it does to just float through life on autopilot. And it's easy to float through life on autopilot. It's easy to swing through McDonald's and grab that burger. It's easy to skip the gym and sleep in later. It's easy to take your children and your wife for granted and just not appreciate the you know what you. I mean, so what you're talking about.
Do you know why?
Yeah, well, let's talk about that.
Yeah. So our brains are hardwired to, your brain wants you to sit on the freaking couch and eat like naked in a beanbag chair eating Cheetos. Like literally, your brain would be so content.
Oh, wait, hold on.
You sitting there.
Hold on a second. Is the Skype camera on? I'm just kidding. I'm not singing in a beanbag naked eating Cheetos.
I was like, oh God. I was like looking, I'm like, wait a minute, what?
Help.
Dude,
help us all.
The crap out of me.
Oh shit.
Holy shit. I didn't check my camera. I'm like, oh my God, click, what the Holy
I'm sitting here in my underwear.
I thought you, yeah.
He can see me. Son of a.
Okay, I'm sorry. I sidetracked it. Go ahead.
So your brain loves the fact that it could sit there and do nothing, right? Because your brain is hardwired for survival. Anything outside of your comfort zone, you get all anxious and anxiety, and it's like, oh my God, I don't know. And you have all these unsure thoughts. Is because your brain is like, oh God, it wants to do something familiar, and it wants to do something safe.
Right.
You know, that's why they say, all right, we're going to jump onto this plane. Ready? 1, 2, and then they go, because on 3, people stop. They grab the sides like, oh God, no. Right? How many times have you like, come on, jump, jump, jump? You're jumping off something. You're like 1, 2, and you get to 3. You're like, I can't say 3. Right? And you get kind of scared. You're like, all right, screw it. 1, 2, and you just jump. Right? So your brain is hardwired. Right? And it's our fight or flight instinct that kicks in every single time. You see a baby bear. You're like, oh, that's so cute, right? What your first thought is like, oh, it's not threatening. That's fine. My first thought is, where the fucking hell is the mama bear, right? But if you saw the mama bear, now you're like, oh crap, and now your brain's like, oh crap, right? So it's hardwired for survival, and that is why people do the things that they do, and people don't take a lot of risk, and that's why you have to force yourself to take the risks and to say yes and figure it out later.
So
which is how I live my life.
Say yes. People binge watch freaking 5 episodes or five seasons of Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
And watch Sunday football, and you know what I mean? Like, because it's easier to play fantasy football or focus on that external bullshit than to actually do something to improve either your life, your children's lives, or do anything else. You know, I work hard every week, you know, in my 9 to 5, and I come home on the weekends, and that's what I do. I sit here and I eat Cheetos and watch, you know, play Medal of Honor or whatever the fuck I do. But you know what? If you want to move on in life, you can't do that shit. So,
right.
Period.
Yep.
And so
you're absolutely correct.
Resiliency. You talk about resiliency, and again, this isn't something you're born with. It's you develop resiliency. Talk to us about, number one, the importance of resiliency, and what can listeners out there that are listening to this right now do to take steps or next actions in order to become more resilient in their life?
Absolutely. So resilience literally is your body's ability to bounce back, your mind bounce back. It's to withstand, recover, and grow. So if you're not growing, you're dying, period. You have to grow every day. And so how people become more resilient is you need to literally grow. And how you do that is, first of all, develop an attitude of gratitude. Absolutely have to cultivate the attitude of gratitude. There are so many health research out there that tells people that when you have a gratitude mind, when you are thankful, when you feel like you're blessed, you just have a healthier body. Right?
How do you do that though?
Okay, so what you do is you count 3 blessings a day, and the third blessing is you being a blessing to someone else. So let's say that I wake up in the morning and I'm like, okay, my first blessing today, and you can do it. I'll do it on Facebook. If you hashtag counting blessings all over Facebook, people that I teach, everybody that I talk to at conferences, that's what they do. Like, I'm like, all right, we're going to hashtag it right now. So hashtag counting blessings. You can see everybody's stuff. And so what it is I woke up today. I'm breathing. If I've got breath in my lungs, I've got purpose in my heart, you know, however you want to frame it. Right. Or it could be, I got to work today with 0 traffic. There's always traffic everywhere I go, but you know what? There wasn't any traffic today, and that was a good day. Or, hey, I got to work and I got promoted today. You know, I got a pay raise today. Like, yes, I got a pay raise. You know, so kids, wives, husbands, whatever. You buy a new car. Hashtag counting blessings. I bought a new car today. I got a new truck. You know, and then the third blessing is you blessing someone else. Right, that pay it forward. So buy somebody's coffee, buy somebody a freaking lunch or something. Take them to lunch. Write them a thank you letter. Like literally, it takes 5 minutes to write a letter to somebody, or it could be somebody you work with, and just put it on their desk. Like, dude, I think you're awesome and great job on the project that you did. You know, here you go. Or write a letter to your wife. Like, hey, you know, I really thank you for everything. I love you so much. Here's a letter. You know, and put it in her lunchbox or put it in her purse, or you know what? There's a million different things that you can do to cultivate gratitude, but gratitude is where it starts.
Now, let me pause you real quick. So last summer, Bennett and I, we did a 30-day gratitude challenge where we'd either post it on Facebook Live or we had a gratitude journal that we would keep. And so it was an exercise that we went through, and we invited listeners to come on the journey with us. And what I found in doing that, it was amazing because we commit, like me personally, I committed to trying to find 3 things a day that I was thankful for. Now, I like that take about the 2 and the 1, the 2 things that you're grateful for and then being a blessing to someone else. I love that take. I didn't do that. I didn't know that then. But so I was just looking for 3 things to be grateful for. And what ended up happening is since I committed to myself 3 a day, I knew that I needed 3 a day, by the time I got home at night when I wrote it in the journal. The amazing thing happened was because I knew I had to find at least 3, I found myself way more aware of my surroundings, and I found myself way more aware and cognizant of things that. Because the things that went my way, it was weird to be in that state of mind. It seemed like when I was in that month,
it's a positive frame of mind,
right? Because in that month when we did that, I felt like there were so many things that were going my way. And the thing about it is things probably went my way before that. I just didn't stop to recognize them, right?
Well, the other thing it forces you to do is actually see all the good in others,
right?
So. Too often in this society, all we see is the negative. That's all we ever hear on the radio or on CNN, Fox, you name it, whatever, the media in general. All you ever hear about, for the most part, is negative, right? Or at least I should say that's what everyone focuses on. So, but why do they focus on that? So when I find myself with the gratitude journal that we did, and then I continue this because. As Eddie knows and a lot of our audience, and this is more for you, Sean, my mantra is trust, gratitude, and forgiveness. And those are the 3 things that I live my life by. So, but with the gratitude part, I really and Eddie, you say this to me all the time. I have no idea how you do your job. And it's because I practice gratitude and I see the good even in the freaking scumbags that I might deal with on a daily basis. You know what I'm saying? So it's really a frame of mind, and that's exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Awesome. So that's number 1, coming from a place of gratitude. Continue, sir.
Yep. Yeah, so number 2, and I'd love to do this with you guys. It takes like 30 seconds. Let's do it for a minute, right?
All right, let's do it.
So I'd love to do this with you guys. So you can have a piece of paper, pen, if you have something, or you can just do it in your mind. So here's what you do. The second most important thing to build resilience is you need to know where you are. You need to know who you are. And so what I do is you need to name 5 values. So my values are trust, love, relationships, money, and loyalty. Those are my top 5 values. So if I go because the Air Force is, integrity first, serving for self, excellence on all we do. Marines is honor, code, God, country. I'm pretty sure, unless they changed it, but it's honor, code, God, country. Army's got their set of values, Navy's got their set of values. So what I did was I adopted, I'm like, okay, well, if the military has values that you have to go by and codes and stuff, then why the hell aren't we doing that for our life? And so that's what I did. The trust and loyalty is huge to me. I do forgiveness. I'm all about forgiveness. People make mistakes. I got it. But it is so much harder for me to forgive somebody who betrays my trust, right? Rather than somebody who wrecks my car. I can forgive you. Okay. Everything cool. Damn, I really love that truck. But if you just betray you lie to me, it's like you have just killed my core value. So you have to develop core values. So Eddie, what are your top 5 core values? They're not negotiable.
So while you were talking, I was writing them down, and hold on, I'm thinking of my 5th one. It's funny because I've never done this exercise before, and you're right. I mean, we live by a code when we were in the military, and that's true for so many things. When we leave the military, all of a sudden everybody thinks, I'm struggling at this transition thing because I don't have purpose in my life anymore. Well, you maybe you don't have purpose, but you've let go of this code. You've let go of the structure, the discipline, so many things that go along with it that you kind of walk away from when you take that uniform off. So the first one, and these are in no particular order, but I have to say integrity is definitely one of them. I like to believe that I'm a man of integrity. It's faltered from time to time, but it's something that's very, very important to me. My family, obviously, because what the hell else are we doing this for, right? I mean, if it's not for them, then, I mean, I could be as successful as I want, but if my family kind of falls by the wayside, then I've failed as a father in this life. The other one is tenacity. I honestly think that being tenacious is very important because it's so easy to quit, and it's so easy to take shortcuts, and it's easy to do things the easy way. But to have grit and tenacity, I think, is important. The other one, number 4 for me, is honor. Being honorable, holding true to these, and honoring the things in my life that I value, honoring my family, and honoring my wife, and honoring my commitments, I think is important, whether it be personal commitments or professional at work commitments. Honor is an important thing. And I think for me, the 5th one is, I don't even know how to put it into a word, but name. And I wrote the word name down, but what I mean by that is, I had an episode on one of the shows a while back where I went through an exercise. I won't retell the story, but just for your benefit, Sean, I spent a good amount of time with one of my senior NCOs that had me remove things off of my uniform and then replace them again, and asked me the question, what's the most important thing on your uniform? And I kept naming things like my rank and unit insignia and these ribbons and on and on and on. And finally, by the time we got to the end, at the end of the day, he finally said, the only thing I was left with was my nameplate on my uniform. And that turned out to be the most important thing on my uniform, was my name, because it's what you have. It's your legacy.
It's your brand.
It's your brand, right? There we go.
That's what I help people do.
That's it. So
live their brand.
That's it for me. Bennett, did you write yours down?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bennett, what you got?
I actually did this. What's funny is I actually did this exercise the other day.
That's awesome.
In a workshop that I was in. Very similar. So I actually just ran out of the room, and I pulled that what I had written down for that. So my first one was loyalty. Just because I demand loyalty of myself to others. And I'm I think Eddie can attest to that. I'm a pretty loyal guy. When it comes to my friends, my family, and all of that, my community, my service, whatever you want to say, I'm very loyal. But I also, because I like to lead by example, I also expect that from others, especially if I give it to them, but that goes hand in hand with trust as well. So you got to trust somebody to also expect loyalty. You know what I mean? Authenticity is my third one.
Yeah.
And I am so sick of just people and organizations and companies and just basically the majority of our society just being so unauthentic. Be who the fuck you are. Say what you mean and mean what you say, period. You know what I mean? Authenticity is huge. The next one for me is service. The service that I provide, services that basically my life is about service to others. As long as I've taken care of myself, I freely give to others with service. And then the last one is growth. Always grow. Do not, because one of the biggest things about this is I will never accept mediocrity.
Right.
It's just not okay. Now that doesn't mean that I don't do shit that's mediocre. Of course we all do. It's a matter of accepting it though. Cause I won't stop until it's not mediocre. You know what I mean? Like podcasting or whatever, just pick something and we go at it balls to the wall and go until we are feeling good about what we're doing. You know what I mean? And and never slowing down and always wanting to learn and reading and learning and growth, just growth. So those are my
love
five.
it. So here's how you can become resilient. So what I tell people is, if you don't have a purpose, they're like, okay, I got it. I value that. Cool. Got it. Okay. So now what you need to do is wrap a goal around the value, because the thing is that, people fail at goals because they make them when they're drunk, or they make them on New Year's Eve because it's the cool thing to do and everybody fails. So here's a foolproof 100% successful way to do it. You take your values and you say, what am I going to do with these values? So I like love and relationships. Now, relationships could be with my family, it could be with my friends, could be with, you know what I'm saying? So my relationship is kind of family, but like I want to love everybody. And it's really hard to do, especially with the things that have been going on in the past couple of weeks. So how do I do that? So one of the things that I did was like, you know what? I want to show love to people. I was like, I'm going to start a show about transformation, about people that are transforming and then impacting other people. So that was a goal. So what I do is I take that value. I'm like, how can I live this value? How can I live my brand? Because those top 5 values are your brand. This is your brand. This is what Eddie is. This is what Bennett and Sean and everybody in the world, this is who they are. Okay. So when I walk into a room, I want people to not hear anything I say, because my character is so freaking loud. Right. And I'm living my brand by living by example, like you said. And so what I did was I said, you know what? I want to take this goal, and what am I going to do with it? So values are where you want to be in life, and goals are just the accomplishments along the way. And so what I did was I said, okay, I'm going to start this show. So I took a year plan. I wrote down in a year, what do I want to accomplish in a year using this value? What do I want to accomplish? Wrote it down. Then I broke it down. Every month, what am I going to do? Every week, what am I going to do? Every day, what am I going to do? So every day, Monday through Friday, my daily goals equal my monthly goal, or my daily goals equal my weekly goal. And then my weekly goals, my 4 weekly goals, or however much it is that I'm doing, my weekly goals equal my monthly goals. And then every month that adds up to my year plan, because you get less done in a year than you think, but more done in 5 years. So I take my values, I wrap goals around those values, and then I freaking attack. And if I fail,
some mind belly shit.
Yep. So what I do is I just readjust fire and reattack. You know what I mean? Every time. If I want to be a speaker. So check this out. I've been speaking forever, and I get paid, pretty good to go out and speak at places. And so what I did was like, okay, if I want to speak at these many places, what am I going to do? My dream is to be on the TED stage. My dream is to speak in Australia. So what I did was like, okay, let's do this. So 2 events I have to apply to. 2 events every day, Monday through Friday. That's 10 events per week. So that's 40 events per month. That's 480 events that I will this year in 2017 that I will have applied to 480 events. My wife's like, holy crap. I'm like, I'll probably speak at 10 of those. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to speak at 480 events. I'm just applying. I've been denied from TED for 7 times already. I'm going to adjust fire, and then I'm going to reattack, because I am relentless in the pursuit of what sets my soul on fire, because my values will not let me fail.
Right.
That's the second thing. And then the third thing, build yourself a personal board of directors for your life. If every major CEO and every company in the world has board meetings to talk about last quarter growth, this quarter growth, last quarter sales, this quarter sales, why in the fucking hell are we not having board meetings with ourselves, with our friends and family? Like, I know families that have board meetings like every Thursday. Like, all right, kids, I noticed that you didn't do your chores, or I noticed that, or the wife and husband are having a board meeting because they got pissed off at each other. Like, do you know why I got pissed off? And they're calmly talking things out. My wife and I talk about everything, and we get pissed off at each other if we don't talk about everything. So what we've developed is a board of directors. And your board of directors hits on 5 areas most common with everybody. And the 5 areas are wealth and finances, same thing, wealth and finances, health, personal development, professional development, and spirituality, which can be religious or non-religious. For us, it's religion. For other people who don't believe in God, hey, that's cool, man. Do what you got to do. But spirituality is literally your ability to strengthen a set of beliefs, principles, and values that you already have. Okay? So what we do is we place 1 to 2 people inside of that area of our life, and they help elevate us. What I found out earlier this year. And what blew my mind was that somebody told me, is like, you know, you're the average of the 5 people. I learned that last year, a couple of years ago. But what somebody told me this year and blew my mind was that if you see somebody who is more successful than you, if you see somebody who's making the amount of money that you want and living the lifestyle that you want, instead of tearing them down, why not congratulate them and walk up to them and say, I want what you have. How the hell do I do it? And I'll do anything to make it possible. And most of the times, if you find a real nice millionaire, he'll be like, all right, do this, 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 and this. Oh, yeah, by the way, come work for me. I know people who have dropped out of college at 23. I know people who dropped out of college at 23 and they go and work for these millionaires. Within 2 years, they're a fucking millionaire.
Right.
If you put it all out there, they will freaking help you. There are people in this world that if you tell them, like, I want what you have, how the hell do I do it? And how did you do it? And I'm relentless in doing that. You're living the lifestyle that I want. How the hell do I do it? And so you just build a board of directors. My wife is on my board of directors in my personal life because she's huge in my personal life. God is also there too in my spirituality in my personal life. My wealth and finances is my mastermind. I'm in an M1 mastermind. M1 stands for March to a Million. We're learning in the mastermind how to become whole life millionaires.
I love that, dude.
So that's the mastermind that I'm in. And so a bunch of us get together and we literally, like, why did you just spend $10 fucking on Netflix? Is that part of you becoming a whole life millionaire? Well, I just wanted to watch a show. Screw you, dude. Take the freaking $10 and put it towards an investment. Put it in a freaking account somewhere. You know what I'm saying? So we hold each other extremely accountable. But I have people. My mom is a nurse, right? She's not in my personal development because, and if she's listening, sorry, Mom, she's been divorced 3 times. And so you don't go ask a fucking broke person how to become a millionaire. I'm not going to ask my wife for freaking relationship and marriage advice. However, my mom has been a nurse for 30 freaking years, right? And so I ask her for health advice all the time. She's on my board of directors in my health, but not in my personal life. And you can freaking you can terminate somebody, you can fire, you can hire, whatever. Man, you're the CEO of your life. So if you're the CEO of your life, run it successfully instead of running it into the ground. And that's exactly what I did. I ran my life into the ground. I wasted my life. I've got thousands of dollars in debt from bars that I went to and girls that I don't know what the hell happened to them. But you know what? Now it's all about professional development, personal development, and building my board of directors so that I can elevate my life to the level that I want to live it at.
Hell yeah,
and those are the 3 ways.
That's awesome. Really quick, running out of time. Talk to us about your book. No, we're good. Dude, I could talk on this forever. And I know Bennett can too. And we're going to have to.
That's why I keep muting it, because otherwise I'd be chiming in every 6 seconds.
It's like we're gonna have to.
It's like you were saying. He brought up M1. Like, I've listened to Rock Thomas.
That's my mentor, man.
Yeah, man.
Rock Thomas is my freaking mentor.
Yeah, so he's the man, and literally I could sit here and have a whole like half-hour conversation about that shit. But you know. So,
oh yeah.
So let me shut my shit off again.
Having a rock fest in your brain. Yeah. So
dude, Rock Thomas is awesome.
Decisions, the power to overcome self-defeating behaviors. Talk to us briefly about what's in that book. If somebody goes and grabs that book, what are they going to get out of it?
Yeah, man. So you're gonna get the chance to learn how to overcome the self-defeating behaviors that everybody has. I literally tell you exactly like we just did. Instead of counting other people's blessings, water your own freaking grass and count your own damn blessings. Stay in your own lane and worry about your damn self. Everybody who's a parent says that to their kid, right? Oh, I don't care about these kids down the street. Worry about yourself. But your crazy self is looking across the fence at the other neighbor's wife or their car or their house. So take your own advice and concentrate on your own life. I never worry about what anybody else is doing because it has nothing to do with my end goal. And so what you'll learn in that book is my struggles. It's an autobiographical approach to my struggles, how I overcame those struggles, and how I battled daily. I'm not a success story. I battle daily. My wife and I were talking the other day. It's like, man, I wish I had a freaking beer, man. Like, damn. But I just don't want to drink because I'm afraid that I'm going to fall back into those tendencies, those alcoholic tendencies where I'm hiding bottles all around the house and I'm shaking because I need a drink so bad, And that's it, man. Every chapter, and I'll mail you guys a book. So give me your addresses later, and I'll mail you guys a book. Every chapter is about 7 chapters long. Take you about a couple days to read. But every chapter has 2 inspirational quotes to sum up the chapter, and then a scripture. So it appeals to the secular and then to the religious people. You know what I mean?
Nice.
Because I really wanted to hit both. But it really literally talks about ways to overcome self-sabotage, give yourself some self-love, and gives you ways to overcome the behaviors that keep us from unlocking our true potential and elevating our life.
Thank you so much. Sean Douglas, everyone. Thank you for coming on the show. Where can people find more about you and connect and follow you?
Yeah, so my website is The Success Corps, CORPS, little tip of the hat to the Marine Corps, thesuccesscorps.com. And then I'm not a hard person to find. I'm all over LinkedIn and Facebook. And I don't usually do Twitter, Snapagram, InstaChat, or any of them other crazy ones. But I literally focus on LinkedIn and Facebook. And my if you go
the ones that adults should.
Yeah, right. So Facebook.com/The Success Corps or Facebook.com/Sean Douglas Speaks. And then my radio show is Life Transformation Radio. So you can check me out, and I would love to connect with everybody. I talk to everybody. I don't care.
Absolutely. Very cool. Thank you, Sean, for coming on the show. Folks, you can find the show notes and everything we talked about on this episode by heading over to changeyourpov.com and just look under Attack Friday, and you'll find the show there. Never miss an episode. Hit subscribe on your podcast player of choice. We have a lot more great content headed your way. And, hey, come be a part of our community over at Change Your POV Squad Facebook group. We would love to see you there. And just a little bit different this time, but I'm going to read a quote by Gene Chatsky. Says, resilience isn't a single skill, it's a variety of skills and coping mechanisms to bounce back from bumps on the road as well as failures. You should focus on emphasizing the positive. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you.